Hi, and welcome to Vinyasa Flow Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. For this practice, you want to have 2 yoga blocks and a strap, maybe even a blanket to fold up and sit on as we begin. We're going to be focusing physically our continued theme of spinal twist, which is helpful for promoting digestive flow, energetic flow, and releasing stagnancy, whether physically, mentally, or energetically. So find a way to sit in hero's pose. Actually, you may want to have a block right between your ankles as you place your knees in front of you like this. And by elevating your pelvis on a block or even 2, you can bend the knees less deeply. And if this posture does not work for you, sit in a way that does work for you. And that goes with all of our physical poses. If you're finding that one variation that I'm offering is not working out, get creative and try a different version or opt out and give yourself rest whenever you need to rest, however resting looks like. With that being said, I'd like to share more about the second limb of the 8 limbs of yoga, also related to that theme that we've been practicing, spring cleaning, sort of decluttering different aspects of our lives so that we can allow energy to flow more vibrantly and freely and have a sense of clarity. So in the second limb of yoga, the practices are called niyamas, and they are ways that we can evolve in harmony with ourselves, inner and outer. And so one of those practices is called tapas. And I'd like to share a bit more from the book, The Secret Power of Yoga by Nischala Joy Devi, where she explains tapas of body. So oftentimes tapas itself is described as fiery discipline, so much so that it becomes a form of devotion to your greatest well-being. So how does that show up as a physical practice? She says tapas of body is defined as service, physical purity, living in virtue, moderation, and reverence for all. Charging all your actions with zeal and sincerity, whether serving family, the greater community, or yourself, transforms them into spiritual practice. So she highlights 2 important qualities in any action that helps the action to become a spiritual practice: zeal, or wholeheartedness and passion, and sincerity, genuine truthfulness and integrity. And she says this concept applies to the formal practices of yoga as well. When practicing asana, which is the physical postures, or pranayama, which is the breathing techniques, guidance of universal energy, or any of the other practices, the main benefit comes from embracing the deep spiritual intention. And so we often start our practice by setting an intention so we can get into that heart space of making this, whatever it be, whether you're in child's pose or you're doing something rigorous or you're doing a breathing practice, so that's all connected to that feeling of sincerity and zeal, tapas. So let's integrate it into the physical practice. Sitting up tall, rooting down into the surface below the body, opening your heart space by relaxing the shoulders back and down. Start to notice what you are feeling in your physical body, anything. With loving acceptance of what is, whatever is present, become aware of the breath without having to change the breath. As you sense the qualities of the breath, notice how you feel right now energetically. Now tune into your heart. What emotions feel alive in you right now? Tune into your mind. What are the patterns of thoughts? How are you feeling mentally? And then perhaps bring your hands together at your heart. This is a gesture, a mudra that symbolizes union, bringing together all different aspects of self, as well as gratitude. So what is something you appreciate in this present moment? Through the lens of gratitude, now pinpoint something you would like to set as your intention for this practice. What are you devoted to? What inspires you to take action with zeal and sincerity? And then practicing looking at the bigger picture. Choose somebody that you care about or a community that you care about to maybe dedicate today's practice to, making an offering of your efforts. Let the breath in through the nose a little deeper. And sustain it out through the lips like you're fogging a mirror. Inhale even slower. Exhaling to empty. Let's prepare to chant to create resonance, beginning our practice with 3 ohms. Inhale down to the pit of your belly. Bowing in towards your heart center. Tune into your body and listen to its guidance through whatever sensations arise, taking care of yourself and personalizing this practice. Let's begin the practice of Ujjayi Pranayama, where you close your lips and softly narrow the back of your throat while creating a very gentle whispering sound like you're fogging a mirror, but with the lips closed. Sustain your breath evenly in and out. This style of breathing helps to invite a feeling of balance in the nervous system, a calmness of mind and body, a steady focus as you're listening to that slow rhythm in the breath. See if you can keep that slow rhythm as consistent as possible through most of this physical practice. We're going to move to that. So come on down to your hands and knees, and you may like to have blocks at the front of your mat like this for later. Spread your fingers flat with your index fingers pointing forward, parallel to each other, thumbs wide. Stack your shoulders over your wrists, but step your knees about 2 inches behind your hips. Tucking your toes, lift your hips high and back, entering downward facing dog. Spend the first few breaths, maybe pedaling your feet in place or any kind of movement that just feels good in your body to start loosening it up. You might gently shake and nod your head a few times to relax your neck. And as you're lifting your shoulders high away from the neck, spread the shoulder blades apart by spinning your triceps or outer upper arms towards the ground. Bend your knees and lift your sitting bones as high as you can towards your rear wall. And keeping your sitting bones that high, now firm the front tops of your thigh bones back. And you might keep the knees bent if that offers more space in your spine to lengthen it. Begin to sink the heels deeper towards the ground, even if they don't touch it. See that your feet are parallel, hips distance or wider apart. And now land your gaze on one focal point, tuning into 3 more slow breaths. This posture in Sanskrit is called Adho Mukha Svanasana. Feel the energy of your hands as if they are pushing your mat underground and against the front wall so that your hips do the opposite. Engage the belly in. Inhale, glide forward into the top of a push-up plank pose. Staying a few breaths, keep spreading the shoulder blades apart and lengthening your neck by gazing on the floor in front of your thumbs. Now, as you flex your right foot, lift the heel just about the height of your hip. Try to keep your hips stable, not swaying them side to side. Hovering the right foot, inhale, press the instep of it towards your rear wall. Exhale, bring the right knee towards your left elbow. See if you might even be able to touch it. Keep the shoulders still. So we're warming up our obliques, our twisting muscles. Inhale the right leg back. And exhale, step the right toes down. Breathe. Press through the instep of your left foot and flex it as you inhale, raise the left heel to the height of your left hip. Keep the hips balanced and steady. Exhale, cross the left knee to tap, right elbow. Keep the shoulders still and steady. Inhale, raise the left leg back. Exhale, lower the toes. Lift your hips high and back and bend your knees. Inhale, look forward past your fingertips. Empty the breath and walk or lightly jump to the top of your mat. Forward folds. Press down into your blocks or the floor and inhale, lengthen your spine parallel to the ground. Half forward folds. Exhale, bow towards your legs. Press down to your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms forward, rising up. Gently coil your chest up, saluting the sun, source of energy. Exhale, join your hands in prayer from your crown to your heart center, saluting the source within you. Let's start our first series, Sun Salutation C. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead, and again, coil your chest up. Exhale, hinge forward towards your legs in Uttanasana. Plant your fingertips on the ground and inhale, step your left knee behind you to a kneeling lunge and gaze up, Anjaneyasana. While holding your breath, step into plank pose. Exhale to Ashtangasana, lowering knees, chest, then chin. Hug the elbows to your ribs, stick the tailbone up. Inhale to Cobra, slither your belly to the floor. Ground your feet and coil your chest up. Exhale to Downward Dog, lift your hips high and back. Inhale, step your left foot forward beside your left thumb. Lower your right knee and gaze up. Exhale, step your right foot forward and bow. Root down to your feet, inhale, rise slowly to the breath. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, join your hands in prayers. Feel the reverence of this gesture as we practice tapas. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Bring to heart what you're dedicated to in this practice, your intention. Exhale, fold over your legs. Root down to the fingertips. Inhale, step right knee back, gazing up. Hold your breath as you step to plank. Exhale, lower knees, chest, then chin, Ashtangasana. Inhale, slide forward into Bhujangasana, which means Cobra pose. Exhale, lift the hips back to Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. Inhale, step right foot forward beside right thumb, lower left knee, gaze up. Exhale, step left foot forward and bow. Root down, inhale, rise to Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, join your hands to your heart center. Let's prepare for Surya Namaskar A, one round, Sun Salutation A. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. Plant your fingertips on your blocks or the floor. Inhale, lengthen Ardha Uttanasana. Step to plank. Exhale, lower forward through Chaturanga Dandasana, hugging the elbows close to your ribs. Inhale to Cobra or Upward Facing Dog. where the pelvis stays lifted, coiling your chest up. Exhale back to downward facing dog, and this time let's cultivate stillness in the body. Steady the gaze and tune into 3 breaths as you rebalance and slow them down. Bend your knees, empty the breath, then walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen to Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, joining your hands in prayer at your hearts. Let's prepare for Sun Salutation B, Surya Namaskar B, bringing the inner edges of your big toes together to touch. Empty this breath. Then inhale, bend your knees together to touch. Lean back towards your heels, sit low in chair pose, Utkatasana, raising the arms. Exhale, lean forward and fold, Uttanasana. Press down with your fingertips. Inhale, lengthen forward to Ardha Uttanasana. Either step to plank and lower through Chaturanga, or lightly float into Chaturanga, moving through your Vinyasa, which includes Cobra or Upward Dog, back to downward facing. From there, inhale, raise the right leg, keep your hips leveled in height. Exhale, gently step the foot forward beside your right thumb and spin your left heel down. Inhale, rise to stand in Warrior One. Ride your exhalation down from plank into your Vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Second side from there, inhale, raise your left leg, keeping your hips squared. Exhale, softly step the foot forward beside your left thumb, spin your right heel down. Inhale, rise up to Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, lower into your Vinyasa. Once again, let's practice stillness in downward facing dog for 3 deep breaths. If you need to rest, you can place your knees down. When you've emptied the 3rd breath and you feel ready, walk or float to the front of your mat. Feet touching each other, inhale, lengthen forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Knees touching together, inhale, sit back into chair pose or Utkatasana. Exhale, rise up to mountain Padasana. Let's practice that sequence one more time, connecting movement to breath. And as you tune into the sound of your breath, let your mind find a steady state, like meditation. Inhale, bend your knees, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen, half forward fold. Step to plank or softly jump to Chaturanga. Continue to your Vinyasa. From downward dog, inhale, raise your right leg back. Exhale the foot forward beside right thumb, left heel down. Inhale, rise to Warrior One. Exhale, lower, Vinyasa. Side 2, at your pace of breath. Inhale, raise left leg. Exhale the foot forward, spin the right heel down. Inhale, rise up, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, lower, Vinyasa. Three breaths in stillness at Adho Mukha Svanasana. softening eyes, mouth, neck. When you finish the third exhale, walk or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sit back to Utkatasana. Exhale, rise up. From here, take your 2 blocks. Let's turn to face the wide width of your mat. Step or jump your feet as wide apart as you can. Spread the arms or spread the hands apart and place your blocks on their tallest height behind your calves. Now, I might not be mirroring you depending on which side of your mat you're facing, so just listen carefully. From your left hip socket, rotate your left leg inward towards your midline, 45 degrees. Rotate your right leg outward, away from your midline, 90 degrees. Align your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot. And straighten your legs, open your arms. Let's prepare for triangle pose. So you want to activate the front muscles of your thighs here without locking the knees. Press firmly into the ground with your right big toe mound and your outer edge of your left foot. Lift your pelvic floor and activate your lower belly. Relax the shoulders, open the arms, and inhale, glide your pelvis towards the short edge of your mat that your left foot is near. Reach the right arm past your right knee, and then set the right hand down either on your block to the right, right up against your right leg, directly under your right shoulder, or on the ground as long as that doesn't feel like it's shortening the right side of your torso. Rotate your right glute and outer hip beneath your body so that the middle of your right kneecap is pointing out towards the pinky toe. Firm the top of your left thigh bone back and tack the crease of your right hip towards the outer edge of your left foot. As you root that down, lengthen your spine and crown towards the wall that your right toes are pointing at. Spin your chest slightly to face the sky, landing your gaze on one point that you choose. Left arm straight up. Another 4 or 5 breaths in Trikonasana, triangle pose. See if you can lighten the weight of your right hand here by firming the side muscles of your torso, your legs too. Let's take this to flight in half moon pose. Gaze steadily on the ground ahead of your right foot. Bring the block if you're using it and place your right hand about 6 inches forward of your right pinky toe out to the right corner. Keep the right foot still and drag the left foot forward, flexing it off the floor so your left leg is about parallel to the ground while turning your chest to your left side. Same shape as triangle except we're lifting a leg, so engage the muscles of that lifted leg. In Sanskrit, the name of this pose is Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Bending the right knee, softly step back the left foot. Keep the right knee bent. And lift your spine to side bend towards your left leg, raising the right arm up in Peaceful Warrior. Breathe into your right side of your rib cage and hip flexors. Inhale, rise up. Straighten both legs and parallel your feet. Let's bring the hands to clasp behind your back for a wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, roll the shoulders down behind you and gaze up. Exhale, hinging from your hips, tilt your weight forward so that your pelvis lines up with your ankles as you relax your neck. Stretch the arms away from your lower back and lift the shoulders up away from your neck. You can bend your knees if that's helpful. in avoiding rounding the back. 3 more breaths in this version of Prasarita Padottanasana. Press down to your feet. Inhale, slowly rise. Release the arms. And let's turn the right leg inward 45 degrees and the left leg outward 90 degrees. Align your left heel to intersect the arch of your right foot. Press firmly through the big toe mound of your left foot and firmly through the outer edge of the right foot. Engage the muscles in the legs, open the arms, stand tall. Glide your pelvis sideways towards your right foot, reaching the left arm past your left knee before lowering it onto the left side of your left leg on a block of the floor. Rotate your left outer hip beneath you and tack the crease of your left hip back towards your right foot. Lengthen the top of your head forward and draw the shoulder blades down your back ribs. Spiraling your chest towards the sky, land your gaze and tune into 4 or 5 more breaths in triangle pose, Trikonasana. Now feel the shape in your body because we'll recreate it in half moon pose while lifting the right leg. Gaze at the ground in front of your left foot. Transition mindfully and slowly. Take your time. Bend the left knee and crawl the left fingertips on the block of the floor about 6 inches in front of your left pinky toe out to the left. Drag your right foot forward. Keep the left foot still and raise the right leg about parallel to the ground. Again, tack the left hip crease back towards your right foot and lengthen the top of your head forward. Shoulder blades down the back. Land your eyes and steady your breath. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Take your time bending your left knee and softly step your right foot back. Keep the left knee bent. Lengthen the spine and side bend towards your right leg in peaceful warrior. Breathing into your left side body. Inhale here, then exhale your hands to the ground in plank pose, optional to flow through a vinyasa or cat-cow, or step directly into downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, inhale, raise your right leg behind you. Exhale, cross the knee towards your left elbow in plank. But step the right foot about 4 inches behind your right wrist. Spin the left heel down and straighten your legs. Keep your hips equally facing forward. Place a block on the left side of your right foot. Plant your fingertips on that block. With your right hand, tack your right outer hip back and firmly press down through all of your feet. Inhale, lengthen the top of your head to trace the midline of your mat. Keep your pelvis still. Exhale, twist to your right by turning your rib cage, raising your right arm up, twisting triangle pose, or Parita Trikonasana. As we stay for about 5 more breaths, you could decide to keep the left hand on the block, or you might place it on the ground, or you might go further and place it on the right side of your front foot. Imagine you're balancing another block wide across your lower back so as to not spin the pelvis. Stabilize your lower back. Inhale, lengthen and ground your feet. Exhale, continue to twist. One more deep breath. Look at your right foot. And exhale, lower your hands to frame it on blocks or the floor. Pyramid pose. Inhale, lift your chest forward, tack the right hip back. Hinging from your hips, allow a few breaths to explore this. If you're feeling that your right hamstring is pretty warm and you want to feel more sensation there, flex your right foot, lift the ball of it off the floor, and isometrically drag the right heel back while reaching your sternum forward. Plant the right foot flat on the earth and inhale, look forward of your right toes on the ground. Microbend the right knee and join your hands in prayer. Exhale, lean forward, raise the left leg parallel to the ground in Warrior Three. Right away, flex your left foot and spin the inseam of your left thigh towards the ceiling while tacking the right hip back. Draw your crown forward. You might explore other variations with your arms, like arms back by your sides, wide open, or extended overhead. How is your breathing? Tune into that. Place your right hand on your right outer hip and lower your left fingertips on a block of the floor, 1 foot in front of your right big toe. Press back through the instep of your left foot as you inhale to lengthen your torso down the midline of your mat. Keep your pelvis still and exhale, begin to twist to the right. Raising the right arm in twisting half moon pose or Parita Ardha Chandrasana. One more deep breath. Look at your right foot and lower your hands both in front of it. Standing splits. Inhale, lift the chest, lift your left leg from the inseam. Keep lifting the left leg as you bow towards your right shin. Maybe walking the hands closer to it or wrapping an arm or two around the calf. Set the left foot next to the right, forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, step to downward facing dog. And tune in for a few breaths. Notice how your body feels. Come back to your intention and what you are dedicating this practice to. With that zeal and sincerity of tapas, inhale, raise your left leg behind you. Exhale, cross the knee to touch your right elbow. Keep the shoulders balanced in plank. Step the left foot 4 inches behind the left wrist. Spin the right heel down and straighten both legs. With your hips facing forward, place a block on the right side of your front foot. Plant the right fingertips on the block and use your left hand to draw the left outer hip back. Press to your feet and inhale, lengthen your spine down the midline of your mat. Keep your pelvis still and exhale, twist to your left at your waistline. Raise the left arm up, entering twisting triangle pose or Parita Trikonasana. Breath by breath, exploring the range of your twist. You might place the right hand on the ground or on the left side of your front foot. One more deep breath. Look down at your left foot. Lower your hands to frame it. Blocks or the floor. Inhale, lift your sternum. Square your hips again. Exhale, little by little, fold into pyramid pose or Parsvottanasana. With the option to go further by lifting the ball of your left foot flexed and isometrically dragging the heel back while reaching your sternum forward. Set your left foot flat on the earth and bend your left knee slightly. Join your hands in prayer as you inhale, lengthen your torso forward. Spot the ground a few feet ahead of your left foot. Exhale, lean into Warrior Three. As you lift your right leg, flex the foot, spread the toes towards the shin, and press back through the instep as you lengthen forward to your crown, firming in the belly. Feel free to explore any variation of your arms you played with on your first side. Place the left hand on your left outer hip again. Tack it back slightly. Lower the right fingertips on a block or the floor. One foot in front of your left big toe. Flex through the right foot and press it back. Inhale, lengthen forward. Keep the pelvis still. Exhale, twist to the left. Raise the left arm, twisting half moon pose. Parita Ardha Chandrasana. One more deep breath. Look at your left toes. Place your hands in front of it on blocks of the floor. Square your hips. Inhale, lift your heart and your right leg. Standing splits. Keep lifting your right leg as you fold towards the left. Maybe walking the hands back. Maybe holding your calf. This time, step the right foot all the way back. Come into a wide stance and pivot your feet to face the wide width of your mat to your right. Once again, wide-legged forward fold. Crawl your fingertips forward on blocks or the floor as you inhale, lengthen the spine and draw your shoulders back. Align your hips with your ankles again and exhale, hinge from your hips, folding in any variation of Prasarita Padottanasana. You could clasp your big toes with your peace fingers and gently pull yourself further in while lifting the shoulders up. If you practice tripod headstand, feel free to enter that. Making sure you only practice if you don't have any injuries in your neck, of course. Taking your time with both feet on the ground. Crawl your fingertips forward to lengthen halfway up. This time, crawl your hands to the front of your mat and pivot to face the front in a lunge. Stepping back to downward facing dog. Let's prepare for hip opening in single pigeon pose. Some of you might know the supine version lying on your back called thread the needle. And if your knees are wanting to do that instead, feel free to take it. Otherwise, from downward dog, inhale, raise your right leg and turn out the thigh at the hip. Slide the shin across your mat in front of your pelvis until you're lowering to sit. Straighten the left leg behind you and square your hips evenly to face the front of your mat, maybe placing a prop under the right glute. If your right shin parallels the front edge of your mat, make sure to flex the right foot. Relax the left toes and choose to either fold forward, maybe using blocks to catch your forehead, or twisting, spiraling the left arm beneath the right elbow, or king pigeon, bending the left knee and backstroking the left arm and catching the inner side of your left ankle or foot with your left hand or the crook of the left elbow, where you might clasp the hands overhead behind you. If you're practicing king pigeon, Continue to tack the right hip back and rotate your left outer hip forward. Try to keep squaring your hips. Let's stay for another 5 to 7 deep breaths in the version of this posture you chose. Slowly make your way back to downward facing dog. You might raise your right leg and just give it some movement at the hip there. Check in with your breath. Can you still hear that gentle whisper? Set the right foot down. Inhale, raise your left leg. Bend the knee and turn open at the hip, crossing the shin in front of your pelvis onto your mat. As you straighten the right leg, square your hips to face the front and maybe place a prop under your left glute if that helps to balance the pelvis. If your left shin parallels the front edge of your mat, remember to flex the left foot. Relax the right toes and either fold forward, thread the needle, or king pigeon, backstroke the right arm to catch the inner ankle or foot, maybe towards mermaid. Find the variation you practiced on the first side if you can, to the degree that's available here. Even notice if it's different. 5 to 7 more breaths. Gently, please make your way back again to downward facing dog, this time raising the left leg and maybe shaking it out. Find your way to sitting with your legs in front of you. Come on down to your back for bridge pose. Have your feet about hips width apart, parallel to each other. Arms down by your sides. Ground your shoulders and tilt your chin back. Then inhale, lift your pelvis. Keep your feet parallel to each other. Walk the upper arms under your back ribs closer together and keep your arms straight. If your hands meet, you might interlace your fingers. Count another 5 to 7 full breaths in this posture before you exhale and lower slowly. Spiral the inseams of your thighs slightly towards the floor while stretching the fronts of your thighs forward. The Sanskrit name for this pose is Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. When you've lowered your spine and pelvis, just be still, not hugging your knees to your chest quite yet. Pause for 3 breaths. We have 2 more back bends to go. Choose bridge pose again, or flip over onto your belly for bow pose. Lying face down. Dhanurasana. Slide your knees close together for bow, otherwise practice bridge on your own. 5 to 7 breaths. If bow, press your pubic bone into the ground and bend both knees. Catch hold of your inner or outer feet. Kick your feet away and pull them towards you, lifting the knees no wider apart than hips distance. Draw your shoulders back and extend your heart forward, lengthening the back of your neck. 5 to 7 breaths. Once you're done, drop everything and be still. Observe your body for 3 breaths. Roll onto your back or take another bow. Choose your last back bend, bridge bow or upward bow if you practice that. Urdhva Dhanurasana. For Urdhva, set up like bridge and plant your palms face down alongside your ears. Careful to keep your elbows no wider than shoulders width apart. Draw the shoulder blades down your back and bring the top of your head to the floor. Draw the shoulders down the back and maybe press up, making sure not to go as far as where you feel any impingement in the lower back. To avoid that, keep your legs parallel to each other. Keep your arms parallel to each other. Isometrically drag your heels toward your glutes while lengthening the front of your thighs forward. 5 to 7 breaths. This time when you lower, drop your knees open. Bring the soles of your feet together in Supta Baddha Konasana, supine bound angle pose. You could also place a block under each outer thigh for support. Rest your left hand on the middle of your chest and your right hand on your lower belly. As we rest here, let's practice Durga Pranayama, or 3-part breathing, to help cool down. So it goes like this. Imagine your torso divided into 3 cross sections. The first or lowest is from your pelvic floor to your belly button, all the way around. The second or middle encompasses most of your rib cage, your side ribs. The third or uppermost encompasses your chest, neck, shoulders, and upper back. We'll breathe in 1/3 into the first section, then pause. 1/3 into the second section, then pause. The last third to the top and hold. Then we'll exhale slowly through the nose and hold the breath out. Let's practice 3 cycles of Durga Pranayama together, then 2 cycles on your own. Prepare to start by emptying this breath. Hold it out. Into the first part of your torso, inhale 1/3. Pause. Into the middle, inhale 1/3. Pause. Into the top, inhale the last third. Hold the breath and relax your body. To your nose, slowly exhale. Hold the breath. Round 2, inhale the first third. Pause. Inhale the second. Pause. Inhale the third. Hold. Exhale everything. Hold. Last one together. Inhale the first third. Pause. Inhale the second. Pause. Inhale to the top. Hold the breath. Relax. Slowly let it go. Hold it out. Continue 2 more cycles on your own. Take your time finishing. When you do, relax to natural breathing and notice how you feel. Bring your hands to your outer thighs and close the knees. Wrap the right leg over the left. Slide your pelvis to the right 3 to 5 inches and open the right arm out to the right on the floor. Keep grounding the right shoulder and lift your feet. Begin to twist to your left or drop the knees to the left. For a few breaths. If you're needing a deeper release in the lower back, place the left hand on your right outer hip and press it away from you towards the front of your mat. Slowly roll onto your back, recenter your pelvis on the mat, uncross the legs, and switch the left leg on top. Now slide your pelvis to the left 3 to 5 inches more. Open the left arm wide, ground that shoulder, lift your feet, and begin to drop your knees to your right side. If your lower back needs a deeper release, place the right hand on your left outer hip and gently press it away from you. It's time, uncross the legs and make your way up to sit, preparing for a seated forward fold. Straighten the legs in front of you and flex your feet. Maybe use a strap around the balls of your feet or prepare to eventually clasp your big toes. Root your sitting bones down and inhale, lengthen your spine upright. Relax your shoulders. Exhale, begin to hinge forward from your hips, taking it breath by breath, where you keep a slight lift in your chest. Paschimottanasana, or seated forward fold. Allow for another 4 to 5 deep, long exhales. As you press your sitting bones down, inhale, slowly rise up. Let's prepare to rest the body in Shavasana. Let your feet splay apart, lower onto your back, close your eyes, and give your whole body permission to rest and be still, letting go of regulating the breath. Rest your attention deeper inward. Now resting here a little longer. Bring your awareness throughout your body again. And notice how it feels now. Slowly and gently begin to move your body out of stillness, wiggling your fingers, your toes, gently turning your head. Begin to turn over onto your right side, resting your head there. And observe the quality of the breath. Feeling your energy and noticing if anything feels different about it. Take your time lifting your body upright. Find a comfortable way to sit where you feel grounded, alert, and at ease. Preparing to sit for 5 minutes silently in meditation. Choose a mudra if you like. Stacking the palms face up on your lap, thumb tips touching, can help to cultivate equanimity or balanced state of mind. Close your eyes or steady a soft gaze ahead. And now rest your awareness on one focal point that you choose. It might be the feeling of your natural breath in your body, or a sound consistent and subtle in your background. Anything to tune your focus onto. Now notice how you feel mentally and emotionally. Joining your hands together at the heart, recognize something that you now appreciate. And then remember your intention you set for this practice. Feeling the effects of practicing tapas, cultivating zeal and sincerity towards what you value, what you feel dedicated to. And then remember to whom you offer this practice for. Together, let's close chanting 3 ohms. Inhale deeply. Bow in towards your heart center, acknowledging the light within you. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.